Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I'm a 53-year-old housewife with a story that might resonate with some of you. It's a tale of love, betrayal, resilience, and ultimately, rediscovery. Let me take you back to where it all began, to a time when I thought I'd found the perfect partner, only to uncover a harsh reality that changed my life forever. 7 years ago, I met Eric at a lively gathering hosted by mutual friends. He was charming, confident, and full of life, the kind of person who lights up a room with his smile. We hit it off instantly, laughing over shared stories and enjoying each other's company. As we said our goodbyes that evening, he flashed that warm grin and asked if we could meet again, just the two of us. My heart fluttered, and despite feeling a pang of sadness at parting, I agreed. That was the start of our whirlwind romance. Early on, Eric shared that he had a son, Larry, from a previous marriage. Larry was in 5th grade at the time, a bright and pleasant boy who seemed to take after his father's charm. We had dinner together a few times, and I found myself warming to both of them. They felt like the family I'd always dreamed of having. A year later, on a starry night, Eric proposed. His words were filled with promise and reassurance. "Michelle, don't worry about anything. I work at a big company, and I earn enough to provide for both of us. Just stay home, take care of yourself, and let me handle the rest." His voice was so kind, so steady, that I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I thought I'd found a partner who truly cared, someone who would support me through thick and thin. So, with a hopeful heart, I said yes. During our engagement, I opened up about my past. "You know, Eric, I live with my parents and work part-time. The company I joined right after graduation was brutal. The long hours and relentless pressure ruined my health, and I had to quit." He listened intently, his eyes soft with understanding. "That must have been tough," he said gently. "It was, I admitted. I think long hours will always be hard for me." Eric smiled, brushing off my concerns. "Don't worry about it. You don't need to work. I've got us covered." His words felt like a warm embrace, and I believed we were on the path to a happy, secure life together. Little did I know, that promise would unravel faster than I could have imagined. The first few months of our marriage were blissful. We settled into our new life as a family of 3, with Larry joining us on weekends. But as the honeymoon phase faded, I noticed a shift in Eric and Larry's behavior. The warmth and kindness I'd fallen in love with began to erode, replaced by sharp comments and subtle insults. It started small, with Eric teasing me about my cooking or Larry rolling his eyes when I asked him to tidy up. But soon, their words grew harsher, cutting deeper each day. One morning, I was bedridden after a long day of volunteering at a local park where I'd been weeding under the scorching sun. My body ached, and a fever had kept me up all night. I'd asked Eric for help the day before, but he brushed me off with a scowl. "Being a housewife must be nice, just slacking off all day. I need my days off too, you know. Let me rest." His tone was dripping with disdain, as if my exhaustion was a personal failing. The next morning, I could barely get out of bed. Larry stormed into the bedroom, frowning. "Mom, are you in bed again? Where's my sandwich? I need it for school." I apologized, my voice weak. "I'm sorry, Larry. I couldn't make it today. Here's some money to buy one at the store." He scoffed, his eyes narrowing. "Can't you at least make a sandwich? You always take shortcuts with frozen food or leftovers. You're failing as a mom if you can't even cook." His words stung like a slap. Before I could respond, Eric chimed in from the hallway, a mocking half-smile on his face. "Don't blame Mom, Larry. Since she skipped the sandwich, tonight's dinner better be fancy. You've got plenty of time as a housewife, right? You're not sleeping all day, are you? Oh, and make sure to clean the house thoroughly. No slacking." They both laughed, their cruel chuckles echoing as they left the house, leaving me staring at the ceiling, my heart heavy with hurt. I wondered how I was supposed to prepare a gourmet meal when I could barely stand. Eric's stinginess became another source of constant tension. Despite his high salary as a section chief at a prestigious company, he gave me a pitifully small budget for household expenses, barely a third of what most families spend. "It's my salary," he'd say smugly. "Why should my wife manage it?" After we married, he insisted on controlling all the finances, and I naively agreed, thinking it wouldn't matter as long as the bills were paid. But Eric spent lavishly on himself, expensive suits, designer watches, and frequent business dinners, while scrutinizing every penny I spent. If I bought a cheap bag of snacks, he'd snap, "A housewife doesn't need spending money." If I needed new clothes, he'd roll his eyes. "One pair of jeans is enough, isn't it? If you need something for winter, get it from a discount store." Even a simple haircut became a battle. "Can I go to the salon every 3 months to maintain my hairstyle?" I asked once, hoping for a small indulgence. Eric scoffed. "Why do you need to be fashionable? Keep your hair long, and you only need a cut every 7 months. No more haircuts." Because of his rules, I was stuck buying cheap drugstore makeup that irritated my skin, but when I mentioned wanting better products, he dismissed me. "That's your problem. Deal with it." With such a tight budget, maintaining a balanced diet was nearly impossible. When I pointed out how hard it was to stretch the money, Eric smirked. "I saw a TV show about a family living on this amount. They had a farmer relative who gave them vegetables and bread. Figure it out. That's your job." The breaking point came when my father passed away. He'd been ill for some time, and when the time came to arrange his funeral, Eric's callousness shocked me. "We don't need to send a wreath, right? Only the main mourner does that," he said, frowning as if the very idea offended him. "Use your savings. It's not my problem." His words cut deeply, but I held back my tears and organized the funeral alone. I assumed Eric and Larry would at least show up to pay their respects, but they arrived late, barely acknowledged my grieving mother or relatives, and left almost immediately. My relatives were furious. "What's wrong with Eric? Your wife's father died, and you're acting so cold. And Larry, after all the gifts and allowances Michelle's dad gave you, this is how you behave." I apologized on their behalf, but inside, my love for Eric and Larry was crumbling. At home, their behavior only worsened. They treated me like a maid, demanding elaborate meals despite the meager budget. If I served chicken or pork, they'd glare at me with disdain. "Don't you want to serve your husband good food after a long day at work?" Eric would sneer. "If I get sick from this cheap food, how will you take responsibility?" Larry would chime in, "Are you even a mom?" I could make delicious meals, even with simple ingredients, but they refused vegetables or fish, insisting on expensive cuts of meat. "I'd eat if it were high quality," Eric would say. "Don't complain when you can't satisfy us." I don't need advice from someone as weak as you. Often, they'd leave the food untouched, yet if I didn't cook, they'd yell, "Are you slacking off as a wife?" I'd eat the leftovers alone the next day, tears welling up as I wondered why I was still trying to please them. Their unhealthy habits caught up with them. Eric was diagnosed with prediabetes during a company health check, and Larry started gaining weight. Predictably, they blamed me. "What kind of wife makes her husband and child sick?" Eric shouted. "We don't need a useless person like you. We're getting a divorce." I'd had enough. "Fine," I said calmly. "I'll leave." They were stunned by my agreement. "Are you sure?" Eric asked, his voice laced with arrogance. "You're unemployed. You've been living off me. How will you survive?" Larry smirked. "Yeah, you'll struggle without Dad's money." I packed my bags, ignoring their taunts. "Don't worry about me," I said. "I'll send the divorce papers. Please leave my stuff alone until the movers come." Eric sneered. "Nobody's taking your stuff. You'll regret divorcing a high-earning, handsome guy like me. A kind husband who let you be a housewife with 3 meals and naps? There's no one else like me." Larry laughed. "You've been living in luxury on Dad's money. You'll end up on welfare with your retired mom." Their cruel words followed me as I left, but I refused to let them break me. I moved back to my parents' house and poured my heart out to my mom. At the funeral, I felt something was wrong with Eric and Larry, she said softly. "But I didn't want to interfere in your marriage. I'm sorry you went through this." I reassured her. "It's okay, Mom. I just need some time to get back on my feet. Once I do, I'll move to an apartment nearby." Her concern warmed my heart, but I knew I couldn't rely on her forever. I needed to rebuild my life. Here's the part Eric and Larry never saw coming. While they mocked me for being unemployed, I'd been quietly building a career from home. It started with a blog where I shared budget-friendly recipes, a creative outlet born from the struggle of stretching Eric's meager allowance. To my surprise, the blog gained traction, with readers leaving glowing comments about my practical, delicious recipes. Encouraged, I launched a cooking website, pouring my heart into every post. The site exploded in popularity, earning me internet fame and catching the attention of a major publisher. They offered me a deal to publish a cookbook, a dream I never imagined would come true. The income from my website and upcoming book gave me financial stability and a renewed sense of purpose. As I prepared for the divorce, Eric called, his voice tense. "What's this about a clause for the divorce trial?" I sighed. "You and Larry insulted me constantly. I've documented everything in my diary. Try to deny it if you can." He scoffed. "Poor people and their obsession with money. If you think you can get a deposit for the trial, go ahead." I didn't argue. Instead, I hired a detective to investigate Eric's background. The findings were explosive. He was having an affair with a coworker who happened to be the manager's daughter. I sent the photos and report to his company. Soon after, Eric called again, furious. "Spreading this at work is low. The manager reported it, and now I'm fired." "You knew she was his daughter, didn't you?" I laughed. "It's your fault for cheating, knowing your company's strict policies. But you'll be fine, right? With all your savings, you and Larry must be living comfortably." He groaned. Larry moved into a dorm because commuting was tough. I prepaid his fees and have apartment loans. My savings were drained by that woman. She was two-timing me with a younger guy. I felt no sympathy. Sounds tough, but it's not my concern. Oh, and about the divorce trial deposit, I'll also take half the value of the apartment for property distribution. When the invoice arrives, transfer the full amount to my account. He was yelling as I hung up, but I didn't care. A few weeks later, I ran into Larry in town. He was dressed in his usual flashy clothes, piercings glinting, his hairstyle impossible to miss. "Hey," he said, smirking. "Heard you're on government assistance now. It's obvious where an unemployed old lady like you would end up. If you'd stayed with me and Dad, you'd still be living comfortably." Pathetic. His arrogance pushed me over the edge. "Getting government help is a citizen's right," I said firmly. "Anyone could need it someday due to illness or hardship. It's wrong to look down on that." He laughed, pointing at me. Yeah, so you're admitting you're getting it? Listen, we're estranged. Don't come crying to me for money." Before I could respond, he vanished into the crowd. I shook my head, laughing at his ignorance. Poor thing, I thought. He knows nothing. I can't wait to see his reaction when he learns the truth. The truth came out soon enough. A few days later, my phone buzzed with missed calls from Larry. I called back, and he shouted, "You deceived me, you old woman. I heard from a cousin you inherited 3 high-rise apartments from your grandpa and are living a carefree life. Hiding that and getting a divorce is cowardly." I stayed calm. Those are my personal assets. Why should I share them with you or Eric? It's not joint property. It became mine after the divorce, per my dad's will. I delayed the process to protect it. He was furious. "A rich woman like you getting government help? I'll report you." I laughed. "Go ahead. It's not me on assistance, it's your dad. After his affair was exposed and he was fired, his income dried up. He's drowning in debt and borrowing heavily. He's too proud to tell you, but he's facing eviction and living in a run-down apartment. If you're so concerned, why don't you help him?" Larry fell silent, then muttered resentfully, "You're cold-hearted. After all Dad did for you, you won't repay him." I didn't hold back. "Your dad made my life miserable. I don't owe him anything. If you're so worried, lend him money yourself. You're working part-time, right?" He stammered, "I don't have savings. My pay goes to hanging out with friends." I smirked. "You've been living lavishly for a student. Borrowing money for clubs isn't smart. I saw you the other day, arm in arm with a girl at a brand store, using my credit card without permission. That bill's coming soon. Pay it on time." He protested, but I hung up, shaking my head at his audacity. Months later, Eric and Larry showed up unannounced at my mom's house, looking disheveled and desperate. Their once stylish appearances were gone, replaced by wrinkled clothes and hollow eyes. Eric sneered as he walked in. Same old house, huh? Why not sell one of those high-rise apartments and rebuild this place? Do something nice for your mom, living miserably on her pension. I crossed my arms. This is Dad's house, and we love it this way. More importantly, when are you paying me back? You're past the deadline. Eric lifted his chin arrogantly. Michelle, I'll forgive you now. Let's remarry. You started a cooking site, right? If you manage the household perfectly, I'll even let you work. Come back. Larry chimed in, yeah, Mom. A generous dad forgiving the wife who abandoned her family? You won't find better. Living with just 2 women must feel insecure. I was stunned, then furious. Don't joke with me. After treating me like a housekeeper, insulting me, giving me pennies for expenses, and kicking me out, you want me back because of my inheritance? No way. Eric retorted, you're heartless, demanding money while we're struggling. You were poor until recently, don't get cocky. Before I could respond, Mom returned from shopping. Eric and Larry immediately turned on the charm. Please lend us money, Grandma, Larry said. Isn't it unfair only Michelle gets Grandpa's inheritance? Give me an apartment too. Eric added, persuade her to remarry me. I don't want to break up, but she's stubborn. Mom's face hardened. She set her shopping bag down and let out a deep sigh. So shameless, both of you, she said, her voice sharp. Eric and Larry froze, confused. I've heard everything about the divorce from Michelle, she continued. I can't believe you have the nerve to show up here. Eric protested, Michelle's exaggerating. You have to hear our side. Larry nodded. Yeah, Grandma, Mom's a liar. Mom cut them off, her voice like steel. I remember how you behaved at my husband's funeral. Arriving late, not greeting me or the relatives, yawning through the service, and leaving before the coffin was sent off. And now you dare ask for his inheritance? Go back to sleep. She marched them to the door, threw their shoes outside, and locked it behind them. Eric eventually paid me back after his lawyer warned that a lawsuit would cost more. Unable to find a new job, he returned to his rural hometown, claiming to help with the family farm. But the village buzzed with gossip about our divorce. There's thrifty Uncle Eric, the neighbors would say, laughing. A degree from a good university, a job at a big company, and still his wife left him for being too arrogant. His first divorce was for reckless spending, and he'll never change. Humiliated, Eric sent me desperate messages begging to remarry to save face. I deleted his contact. His mistress, no longer interested after his money ran out, left him. With the detective's help, I ensured she paid the divorce trial deposit. Larry's life unraveled too. Despite attending a prestigious university, he skipped classes, partied, and got expelled. His friends tried to help, but his arrogance pushed them away. He fought with Eric, blaming him for not paying his debts, and now they don't speak. Larry lives alone in a cramped apartment, scraping by with part-time jobs, a far cry from his days of lavish spending. I made sure he paid back the unauthorized credit card charges. As for me, life is brighter than ever. My cooking website thrives, and my cookbook is set to launch soon. I moved into the top floor of one of the high-rise apartments I inherited from Dad, just a short walk from Mom's house. At 75, she's still healthy and vibrant, and I'm planning a surprise hot spring trip for her birthday. Though my marriage didn't work out, I've found peace and purpose. I'm building a fulfilling life with my mom by my side, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Thanks for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, or if you've been through something similar, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? Sometimes, the hardest moments lead to the most beautiful new beginnings.